All right, good morning and welcome to Daf Yomi, Maseches Moed Katan, Daf Yud Gimel, number 13. We're going to be finishing today Mirza Hashem, the second parak of Moed Katan. Tomorrow we'll begin Elam Megalchen, which is dealing with Avelos. I don't know if I'm going to do any shtick for that. But today we have a soccer ball, the last day of Chol Moed, the most important sport in the world, soccer. And there actually is a park in Israel called Gan Soccer. Nothing to do with the word soccer. Soccer, I think, is a person of the family who donated the grounds for the park. But here we have a soccer ball. I bought this for $2.99 in amazing savings. It bounces like a basketball. It looks like a soccer ball. It's great to have in your house. Go to Amazing Savings. Get this basketball. Amazing Savings is paying me money to advertise their soccer ball. No, I'm joking. I don't have any affiliate sponsorships right now, but maybe one day I will. Anyway, soccer is a great game, a lot of fun. Bounces. Hey, you see how it bounces? It bounces. All right. Let's get on with the shir. Hopefully, it's supposed to be some dancing. My friend David is supposed to come make it Labor Day. All right, the Gemara says the Mishnah on Yud Beis Amud Beis, towards the bottom, about 8 lines from the bottom. Mishnah says, Machnes Adam Perosav Ne'aganovim. A person is allowed to bring in his fruits. If he has fruits in the field, because he's concerned on Chol Moed that people are going to steal his fruits, he's allowed to bring them into his house, even though it's a tircha. It's davar avi. It's not an excessive tircha. It's a tircha. He's allowed to do it in order to prevent loss. V'sholat pishtano min mishra. If he has flax in the water, soaking in the water, he wants to remove the woody fibers from the actual linen in the flax. It's called redding. He can take it out on Chol Moed. B'shul shel ta'abed. If he leaves it there too long, it'll ruin the flax. B'vaj le'chavis melachta b'lamoed. All of these things are only permissible. Hey, Shmuel, all these things are only permissible. Come, Shmuel. All these things are only permissible as long as you don't schedule them for the Chol Moed. You could have done them before, and you do them on Moed. Now to do that. V'kulan im kivnu malachtan Moed yovedu. If you did do this, you scheduled your work for Chol Moed. You could have done it before. Then it's not permissible to get hana from the malacha that you did on Chol Moed. Come, Shmuel. All right. Gemara says, Tana. It says in the Brayso, Bavashi Achnisim Besina Lato Beso. Brayso says that this heter to bring in your fruits into your house, it's only if you do it privately, if you do it in a way that people won't see you, because people will learn from this that it's mutter to do tircha on Chol Moed, which is not true. It's only they won't realize that it's because of the ganavim that you're doing this. But he also have like shuri. He had beams he wanted to that wouldn't get ruined in the rain. Ailinu be a mama. He brought them to his house during the day. He reasoned they're like fruits that are going to get lost. Amar le Abaye. Abaye said to him, "Atani b'vashli achnisem b'stinam b'sokbeis." You should have brought him at night. Why are you bringing during the day? Everyone's public. It's a public matter. People are going to learn from this the wrong halacha. Amar le sina dahani imamuhu. It's more private to bring them in during the day. If you want to bring it in with at night, you need extra men because you can't see where you're going, so you need strength of more men. You need obviously torches or flashlights, so everyone's going to be a big commotion. Everyone's going to see what's going on. It's going to be more farhesia at night, so therefore it's better to do it during the day. You're allowed to take out your flax from the place where it's soaking. Rabbi Yirmiyah asked Rabbi Zera, Kivin malachta b'moed u'meis ma'u shikinsu banav acharav. It says in the Mishnah that if you schedule your work for the Chol Moed when you didn't have to, and you do it, so you can't benefit from it. What about if you did that, and you did the malach on the Moed, and then you died? Can the son, the inheritor of this person, do malacha, benefit from this malacha? In terms of lomar, the Gemara suggests tabi gimel manal, sirim ozen bechor kantu bano acharav. The halacha is, probably, that if you cause a mum in a bechor, right? Normally the bechor goes to the Kohen, if it has a mum, so the Torah says that you get to keep it. So let's say it's forbidden for you to make a mum in your bachor in order to keep it. So if you did that intentionally, you made a mum, so you violate Isur Daraisa. So even the son can't benefit from that bachor. There's Mishum Disur Daraisa. It's because in Isur Daraisa, Shmuel, welcome.
Okay.
Shmuel's here. It's Daf Yud Gimel. Yud Gimel Midosh Arachamim.
Gimel is a nice thing.
Yeah.
Yoni, what's his name? The one who writes all those funny those little pictures,
Yoni?
Yoni.
Yoni the taxi? Yeah, Shmuel, look at this ball we have over here.
What is that?
It's a soccer, feel it. It's a mesh soccer ball.
Oh, it's nice. Ear mesh. Well, what do you do with that?
I play soccer. I mean, it's really a soccer ball, but it bounces like a basketball. How much do you think I bought this for? Amazing savings. How much do you think I paid for this?
Probably $20.
$20. That's an interesting. Wow. Do you know that I paid about 1/6 of that amount? It was $2.99.
You're joking.
I'm serious. $2.99 was the best buy I ever made. I brought it with me in the overhead luggage compartment on the plane. It was rolling around over there. It was the last thing I could fit in into my luggage, but I decided to bring it with me. And I have it now, and I'm benefiting from it. And Chol Moed, you'll be able to go to the park and play with it, play basketball, play soccer, anything you want with it. It hurt. It doesn't hurt. It goes off your face.
Very nice.
It doesn't hurt.
It's
Boom,
very
boom,
nice.
boom.
I like it. It's
Does
very
it hurt?
nice. No,
Ooh, I'm sorry.
It looks like you could even wash it also. It's what do you call it? It's washable.
Shmuel, when you play soccer, like what's your position?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm in outfield. Way outfield. That's
playing
where
the
they put me.
outfield.
Yeah.
What part of the field is that?
Mm.
You're on the offense, defense, or midfield. What are you? The goalie?
The goalie? I'm not the goalie. No. Far from where the goalie stands. You see me near the goalie.
Why can't you be the goalie?
Why? Because I'll be doing a lot of help. I'll help the other side a lot.
So you might
he
get.
Wants to know. David wanted to know what's football, what's soccer.
David speaks English, or he left already. Let me ask you a question. Would you intentionally try to score an own goal?
Would I intentionally?
An own goal.
Own goal? If I was a.
Would you? What do you think about it?
Well,
Scoring an own goal.
If I like that team, I mean, why? If I like that team, so maybe they have nicer colors.
So you would kick it in your own net. That's what an own goal is. You know what an own goal is?
No, what's a goal?
You make a mistake, an accident. You I hope it's a mistake, and you kick it in your own net.
It happens, really?
Yeah.
Oh,
Sometimes it happens. It's very sad. There was a story many years ago. I think it was during the World Cup. You know what the World Cup is?
How many? Like Super Bowl, right?
How many years? What's the cycle? How many years between each World Cup?
I don't know.
Take a guess.
3 years.
4 years. Not so bad.
Uh-huh.
The World Cup is probably the biggest sporting event in the world, bigger than the Super Bowl. It is. I don't know the word. Not bicentennial, like quadcentennial. Every 4 years.
They televise it in Yiddish also?
Maybe. Israel, I don't think qualified. There's only, I think, 32 teams that qualify in the world. It goes by countries, right?
There was a terrible story yesterday with this cup, this game in Africa, and people got killed. They were, there was some sort of suffering. They were crushed.
Anyway, the World Cup is probably the biggest sporting event in the world, and one day, Shmuel, maybe you will be zocha to get a TV set and watch the World Cup.
That was good. Get to be in one of these stars.
That's what I was gonna say, right?
You told me all these names, Rodolfo, all these.
Who's the most famous soccer player in the world?
You told me already. I learned that Rodolfo. His name is Adolfo.
Cristiano Ronaldo. Who's the main? Who's number two? Probably.
Probably also a name like that. I don't know.
He's not clean. He's
what?
He's not clean. He's
not clean.
What's the opposite of clean?
What's the opposite of clean?
Messi. Lionel Messi.
You want me to know all these things?
He's from Argentina.
Messi. It sounds like
you know where Ronaldo's from? What country is he from? What
Ronaldo?
countries he played for in the
Ronaldo
World
doesn't
Cup?
sound like I know he's not from Bensonhurst, is he?
The capital of the country is Lisbon.
Lisbon?
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't help you. Portugal. Portugal. All
I
right.
heard
Capital of
Portugal.
Argentina is what?
Capital of Argentina is big.
All right. Buenos Aires. Okay, we'll continue the Gemara. So,
Why do you
Sir
ask
lives
all
in
these
Bechor.
tough questions?
I'm sorry, Shmuel. You can have fun with that. The ball.
Imperial
While we're
toy.
playing.
Nobody
Sir
feels
is in
tough.
Bechor. Concept of Achra Mishum the Isra Daraisa. That is an Isra from the Torah. So therefore, the Machar, Machar Abdul Ovikochavim, or Mace, if you sell, you're not allowed to sell your Ebed, Knaini, to a non-Jew.
I'm closing the window. It's freezing in here.
The Mace, and then the owner died. Kantu B'no Achrav, Mishum the Chalyoma Mifkalev Mitzvos. Technically, you have to redeem the slave, and if you redeem him, you still can't benefit from him. But his son also can't benefit from him. There, even though it's an issue derabbanan to sell your slave to a non-Jew, the reason being is because you prevent him doing mitzvahs. As a David Knaini, a Jew, he's obligated to perform the mitzvahs that a woman is obligated to perform. So they penalize even the son because you're doing a harsh thing. You're removing him from mitzvahs by selling to a non-Jew. Hachamai. What about over here? Gavra konis rabbanim halays. They were konis the person for doing malach on chol moed. Odilma mona konis rabbanim. They penalize his money. The money exists and his son can't benefit. Ramalei tanisua. We have a brisa to bring an answer to this question. So this is kavsa b'shvius. You take out the thorns on shvius, which you're not allowed to do. Midrabbanan. Tizra l'motei shvius. You're allowed to plant it motei shvius. Nitaiva and daira. If you fertilize it or you put animals in there so they make dung and thereby fertilize the field. Lo tizra, the motzai shvius. You can't benefit from it. That plowing, that sowing, that fertilizing on motzai shvius. Amar Rabbi Yosef b'chnin nachtina and hativa umeis beno. Let's say you illegally fertilized it and then you died. Beno zora, so his son can plant that field in the next season. Alma. Ledide kantor rabbanan, lebrei lo kantor rabbanan. They were kones him, but they didn't penalize his son. Ledide kantor rabbanan, lebrei lo kantor rabbanan. Here too, also they didn't make a knas for his son. Amar Abaye naktina, another riot. This teammate tarosav umeis. If you make tamei someone else's tar, a kohen has to eat only through his tar. The truma has to be tar, and you're mitame. So you lost him money, umeis. So normally it's called hezek she'eno nicker because it's not nicker. Tuma is not something which is nicker. It's not recognizable. What are you doing?
I almost fell off the chair.
What's going on, Shmuel?
I almost felt like it was on a boat or something, and then I lost my balance. I almost fell in.
Yeah. So if your matame is hezek she'eno nicker, you're normally not chayav for it. You are chayav for it. Only midrabban. That's machlokas the rice the rabban and kita. And a mace lo kansu b'no acharav. There, the halacha everyone agrees they didn't penalize your son afterwards. If you die, the son is not responsible to repay the kohen. My time hezek she'eno nicker losh me hezek. L'dide kansu rabban lebrei lo kansu rabban. It's only the rabbanan. They only penalized him. They didn't penalize his son. And the same thing would be over here by kiven malachto lamoed. Ein lochem batim avodim. The Mishnah says ein lochem batim avodim v'hema. You're not allowed to buy houses or slaves or animals, presumably to ride upon. A car would be included in this. You're allowed to buy them if you're planning on using them during Chol Moed. Again, this is business activity, but you're allowed to do it if it's Sarach Moed. Or alternatively, you want to do a chesed for somebody. You want to buy a car from him because he has no money and he needs to sell his car, his used car, that has been 200,000 miles on it, and it's a pity, the car is not going to work anymore, but he has nothing to eat, so you want to do a chesed for him, so you secretly say, oh, I'll buy the car for $100,000, but you're really giving money to him. He has nothing to eat, you're allowed to do that. What about, not just selling, what about hiring somebody to do work on Chol Moed? Normally they don't do work, business activity on Chol Moed, but you want to hire him so he'll have wages. He'll get paid by the hour, let's say, in order they should have money to eat, food to eat on Chol Moed. Amalei Tanina, we saw in the Mishnah, Ol Sarach HaMoed, She'ein Lam HaYochal. It says Sarach HaMocher, She'ein Lam HaYochal. Now, when it says you sell something for the benefit of the mocher, it's talking about, we just said anything for Sorach HaMoed is mutter. She'en Lama Yochal, if he's nothing to eat, that's extra words, right? We know if he's nothing to eat, obviously it's a Sorach HaMoed, he needs the money to buy food. So that extra word, She'en Lama Yochal, what is that coming to include? Lasuya Mai. Lada Lasuya Skar Pul isn't coming to include also to hire someone out in order that he should have what to eat on Chol Moed. Amalei lo Prusha Kamafarish. Really, it's just the words are not extraneous, it's just coming to explain what's the common case of a mocher needing something is where he has no money. You're not allowed to write, if you lend money out on Chol Moed, you're not allowed to write a loan document saying that, I owe you, he owes me money. If he doesn't believe him, he doesn't believe the borrower, they're going to pay him back. Or this case, this mysterious case, someone doesn't have what to eat. Then you can write the shtar, even though you're not normally allowed to write on Chol Moed. It's a malacha, it's a business activity. You're allowed to do it. What is coming? It's a seemingly extraneous case. What is it talking about? Isn't it coming to include where the scribe of the loan document needs the wages in order to have food? The Gemara says, indeed, this is a proof that you're allowed to hire someone out and call him to do work as long as it's needed for him to purchase food. Most of Rav Sheshes had a problem with this. He asked a question following Bryce of a Chamor, three professions could do their malacha on Arvei Pesachim normally Erev Pesach. Not supposed to do malacha. It's a time for Hakravas, Korban Pesach. Chayatin, Vasaparin, Vakovs, and three people, the tailors, the barbers, and the laundromats, they're allowed to do it. The reason is the Chol HaShemot is more chamer than Erev Pesach. So we see that people, we said before in the Mishnah that you're a tailor, you're allowed to do sewing as long as you do it in an unprofessional way, or an unprofessional allowed to do it. Someone who comes in the middle of Chol HaMoed from overseas, or he gets out of jail in the middle of Chol HaMoed, he's allowed to cut his hair and he's allowed to launder his clothes on Chol HaMoed, even though normally you're not allowed to do that. So the reason is, being these things are mutter on Chol HaMoed, it's a kol shekain, they're mutter on Erev Pesach. If you're going to tell me now that it's permissible to do any work in order that the Poel should have what to eat, should have the wages, they should be able to purchase food on Chol HaMoed. Kol malachos nami lishturu ta'ika skar pula she'elam hayochal. Any malacha in an instance where the person you're hiring out doesn't have any food, it should be mutter to do on Erev Pesach. Because if it's mutter on Chol HaMoed, certainly it should be mutter on Erev Pesach. So the Gemara challenges another question, right? You should be able to build on Erev Pesach. So those are one dark. And we know on Chol HaMoed, if it's a dangerous wall that's about to fall into Sharabim, you're allowed to dismantle it and build it again, because it's sakana to the passerby. It's maskil ravina, so you should be able to do that also. That would build on Erev Pesach. We know that's not the case. Maskil ravina, also a scribe, he should also be mutter to do work on Erev Pesach. You're allowed to write documents of kiddushin and gittin and shovrim, receipts. Elam Rav Ashi Moed Arbasar Karamis. We have all these questions. Rav Ashi answers them in one fell swoop. Moed Arbasar Karamis. You can't compare Chol HaMoed and the 14th day of Nisan. Moed Mishum Tirchahu. The whole Easter there is because of excessive work, of business activity. Makom Seder Shar Rabbanim, where you're going to lose money, the rabbis like to do. Arbasar Mishum Sorach Yom Tovu. Arbasar, the reason they allowed you to do it is because you need something for Yom Tov. It's right for the day before Yom Tov. Immediately the Sarach Yom Tov Shar Rabbanan. Immediately the Sarach Yom Tov Shar Rabbanan. So therefore, there could be even though really Chol HaMoed is normally more chomer than Yadalit, but if it's on Yadalit and it's not a tzorich for Yom Tov to build something or to hire someone out, so then it's not going to be mutter. Only three things are mutter, but other things are not. So it's not always that Chol HaMoed is more chomer. There are different reasons. Chol HaMoed is because of Davar Avid is mutter, and Yadal, the heter, is because of Sorach Yom Tov. The Mishnah says in Mufani Bias, the bias, you can't clear out presumably furniture, from one house to another house, you could clear it out from your house to your backyard. If someone finished designing, let's say, a closet from you, you can't, or they're going to bring it over, they deliver it, you can't have them bring it on Chol Moed. If you believe that they're not going to deliver it, they're going to steal it from you, they're saying, oh, we'll deliver it now on Chol Moed, and if they don't deliver it on Chol Moed, they're probably not going to deliver it, then you tell them to bring it to the closest house where it's most secure, in that Chatzar. The Gemara says, Reisha Mefan Klal. Seemingly the Seifa is arguing on the Reisha. Reisha says you can't take it from one house to another house, seemingly even from one house to a Chatzar. And the Seifa says you could take it from one house to a Chatzar. So the Gemara says, Amar Abaye, Seifa Asam L'Bayis Sheba Chatzar. The Seifa, just to clarify, if it wasn't clarified before, Seifa is just talking about from taking from your house, putting in your backyard, not from taking from one house and putting it to another house. In Mavin and Kalim Besa Uman, Amar Rav Papa, Badiglan Rava. Rava tested us. Nan, he asked the following question. In Mavin Kalim Besa Uman. It says in our Mishnah, you don't bring Kalim from the furniture maker. For example, or a bunk bed hasn't come yet. If they want to bring it on Chol Moed Pesach, I hope they bring it before then. But you're not supposed to have them bring it. Raminu Molichan Mavin Kalim Besa Uman. It says it in Mesachas Psachim that you're allowed to bring kalim to the ummah and have them brought to your house. Even though it's not sarach hamoed. So Psachim says it's mutter, and here it says aser. The Gemara answers, we answered Rava, Rav Papa. We answered Rava. And the Gemara in Psachim was talking about Yudal Nisan. Wasn't talking about Chol Moed. There it's more makel. Alternatively, really both Mishnayos are talking about Chol Moed. Here we're talking about where you trust the guy, and Psachim we're talking about where you don't trust the guy, that if you don't get it now, your Choshesh is going to steal the money from you, as we go off to Gimel Amud Beis. Tanya, so the Gemara asks on this, Mevin Kalim Beis HaUma can go on Kadmi Beis HaKadar. You can bring a pitcher from the place where they make pitchers. The Kosim Beis HaZaga, you can bring glasses. They make fine crystal glasses for you. They can bring it to you on Chol Moed. Avalo Serum Beis HaSava, you can't bring wool that was dyed to your house, V'lo Kelim Beis HaUman, and not furniture from the furniture maker. If the person who is making the furniture has nothing to eat, so you can give him his payment on Chol Moed and leave it by him. We don't believe, trust him. You think he'll steal from you. Then we let him put it in a house that's more secure next to the store. He feels it's going to get stolen over there. You could probably bring it to your house. So my answer is this seemingly a proof from this, right? That it depends whether you trust him or not. If you trust him, then you can bring it. If you don't trust him, you can't bring it. So the Gemara answers, the Gemara asked, Haratz Mevian, Molichin Kasha. You answered Mevian. Mevian is a head there to bring it to your house. If you don't trust the guy, Molichin, in Psachim it says you're allowed to bring it. You're allowed to bring something. You have to repair a closet. You have to repair a desk. You're allowed to bring it, a bed. You're allowed to bring it to the person. I don't want it to repair a recliner. They don't repair the recliner in your house. They take the recliner into the factory and they do it there. So that similarly in Psachim you're allowed to do that. Molichin Kasha, the Ksana Imavi and Golshkin and Molichin. Here it says you can't bring back, and certainly you can't bring it there. Ela Mechavarta to the Shani Me'akara. The Gemara says the Ikar answer, the main answer, obviously, is the first one where Psachim was talking about Yodalid Nisan. Here we're talking about Chol Moed. Chol Moed is more Chomer. Mishnah says Machapin Esaxios Bekash. Let's say you have fig cakes that are outside on Chol Moed, and it's going to rain, so you want to cover them with straw to protect them from rain. You're allowed to do that. And you're allowed to do something extra. You're allowed to thicken it. We'll see what that means. If you're selling fruits or clothes or any types of utensils like forks, knives, you're allowed to sell them in a private manner. You're not supposed to do it publicly because people are going to learn from it that you're allowed to do it even shalol tzarach hamoed. Hatzayadim, had the shushos, v'agrusos, people who trap fish or birds. The shushos is someone who grinds up grain. Grosos, they grind up the beans. Osim besina, L'Sarach HaMoed, they're allowed to do this L'Sarach HaMoed. Rabbi Yossi Omer Hemech Miro Asman. Rabbi Yossi said they were machmir themselves. We'll see in the Gemara what that means. Pligi bar Rabbi Chia bar Abba Rabbi Asi. Rabbi Chia bar Abba and Rabbi Asi had machlokas. Rabbi Mishmei the Chizki Rabbi Yochanan. They each said it. One was in the name of Chizki, one was in the name of Rabbi Yochanan. Chadam Bar Mechapin. Mechapin means to thicken it, to cover it. Aklushe means to put a little bit of straw, right? Not straw completely covered with straw. Ma'abin asmuche. Ma'abin means to completely cover it with straw. B'chadamar, the Mishnah, the machlokas in the Mishnah is mechapin ben aklushe ben asmuche. Mechapin means to cover it, even if you cover it in a thick way with a lot of straw. Ma'abin, what's the extra heter of ma'abin? Osa kamin kri. You can take all the cakes and press them together to make a pile, and then obviously cover it, which makes it more secure from the rain. Tanya Miyachim Ma'abin Osa kamin kri. The Gemara brings a proof to the latter opinion. You make it like a pile, divrei Rabbi Yehuda, like Rabbi Yehuda says, that's his opinion. We said in the Mishnah, Rabbi Yossi says they were machmar on this house. What does that mean? The lo have avdi klal. It means they wouldn't do these things at all. The have avdi b'sina, they would do them, but they would do it privately. Tashma mochre perasus v'kele mochem b'sina l'sarach hamoed. The Brisa says that if you're selling fruits or clothing or kalim, you can do it privately. Sarach hamoed. Rabbi Yossi Omer Tagri Tiveria Henech Mir Atzma Shlo Yimochin Kolika. We see the answer is in Tiveria they were machmir not to do it at all. So that's the answer. Sadei Chayos Ofos. Further proof: people who sold traps to catch animals or birds or fish. The Dakim Sadim Besina Sarach hamoed. You're allowed to do that. You're allowed to sell them privately. Sarach hamoed. Rabbi Yossi Omer Sadei Ako Henech Mir Atzma Shlo Yimochin Kolika. In Akko, they wouldn't sell at all. The Shushay Chilka target with this Nidoshim Mitzinal Sarachamot, people who ground up kernels of wheat, they're allowed to do it privately. Rabbi Yossi Omer, the Shushay Spor, Hedach Mir Latzmash, Leo Doshin Collector, they wouldn't do it at all. And Rabbi, what is these things? Chilka Chadal Tarte is when you split a kernel of grain into two. Argius Chadal Tlas, you split into three. Tisli Chadal Arba, you split into four. Yasar Avdimi came Amar Kunta. He says, Chilka Target Tisni is. Chilka is not splitting one into two, it's taking spelt, kunta, spelt, and you're taking off the hull, the outer shell from the kernel to separate the kernel. Mesive on Rav Dimi, Chilka target tisni tmei and mechol makom. Chilka target tisni can become tamei. Bishlam on the marchad al tardi last la arba. According to Abaye, who says the explanation is that you separate the grain kernel into 2, 3, or 4 parts. Bishlam haki tmein. That's why they become tamei. Mechol makom the iskasher, because in order to become tamei, it has to be miskasher. It has to get prepared by going into water. In order to get it, to cut it into 2 or 3, 4 parts, you have to soak it in water. Why is it ready? Why is it royal kabal tuma? Halo is kasher. It wasn't prepared. Kagon the makalfan. He was talking about a case where it was the hull was taken off. You peeled off the hull, not just regular spelt. You have the shah the lubamaya, the shar lubamaya love miklafa. You couldn't have taken off the hull if you didn't soak it in water. So therefore, it became miskasher. Why is it called chilka? The shakel chalkaya. When you took off the hull, it became smooth. The kernel became smooth. Mesive, I have a question on Rav Dimi. I know they're not dagan asher after pull on mitzri. You say I'm not going to get benefit from grains. You're even asher from the Egyptian bean yavish, the dry one. Mutter balach, you're mutter on the moist one. Mutter ba'orez bechilka v'targis v'tisni. You're allowed to benefit from rice. And these things, it's not called grains anymore, right? This is basically when you make noodles, you make pasta. It's the millings is when you break it down, the kernel. So that would be it's called semolina. Semolina, I think it is. The millings of the grains, the waste products. Elman da Amar Kunta, if you hold it spelt, real spelt, Dagan Ma'alihu, it's a real one of the 5 grains, kasha. And where it says, I admit it's really a question. Ravuna Sharlu Lahanu Krufaisa Lemeza Lazvune Kyorchaya B'Shuk. He allowed people selling perfumes and colognes to sell normally without, not even privately, publicly in the shuk on Chalamot. If it's open to an area with benches, meaning not to the public, you're allowed to open the door and sell normally. If the store is open to Sharabim, right, in the places you're allowed to sell, you're allowed to open the side door, but not the main door. But Erev Yom Tov the last day of Chol Moed, Motziu Mater Ashukya Yer by Payros. Then you can even open your front door. B'Shvil Kvod Yom Tov in order that there should be a lot of fruits, it should look good for the Yom Tov Achron for Shmini Atzeret, and they covered Yom Tov Achron. So the Gemara says, they covered Yom Tov Achron in Shalom, they covered Yom Tov Lo, only because the last day of Chol, the rest of Chol, you're not allowed to do that. How could he allow them to sell publicly their spices, their perfumes, their colognes? Look, have a piri, have a tavna. When it comes to fruits, then you have to, it's more business-like activity. There you have to make sure to do it betzina, but tavlin, when you're selling perfumes and colognes, that
Tavlin is what?
I'm saying it's perfumes and colognes. Some might say it means tavlin for cooking, spices for cooking.
Spices.
It could be it's spices. It could be, my explanation is also
Why
whether
do you say cologne?
Kruv v'karshinin, right? Rashi says it like you, but my explanation is perfume. Because if it's spices, well, it also looks like, what's the difference in spices and foods? I mean, spices
is food, is to make food.
Spices to make food, but so what's the difference? Why does the Gemara say have a period, have a towel? There's a difference between them. If you learn like me, even with Bentzy, that is talking about perfumes and colognes, that is not something which has business-like activity. That's more of a premium need.
Oh, he meant he thinks it's Old Spice. You know what Old Spice is?
Old Spice, right? Old Spice
is a cologne.
Cologne, deodorant, exactly. Old Spice. There you go. Shmuel figured it out. He figured it out. It is spices, but it's Old Spices, perfumes, colognes, body wash. I do use Old Spice for my body wash and for my deodorant. I do use Old Spice.
You know we found
made of Procter
if we take all these important facts, we could soon make a whole. We could
Procter and Gamble is the owner of Old Spice. It's starting to be sold more in Eretz Yisrael here. Habipiri, habitavlin. Tavlin is more of a luxury item. A luxury item doesn't look as much like business activity, so therefore it's mutter. Even if our Hesi on Chol Moed.
Look what I'm wearing. Just the covered.
Shmuel is wearing. What is he wearing? What is that? What is that? You're wearing cufflinks?
Yeah.
Cufflinks during the week. I don't know why he's wearing them, but why are you wearing them?
I've been over. I just was over on a big.
Why are you wearing them?
Because I wanted to do just despite.
Shmuel is going to play soccer while he's wearing cufflinks. The first soccer player ever to wear cufflinks. All right, have a good day.
Have a good day.
Bye.